This is private pilot oral exam questions over weather. Number 34. What is a weather-based scenario? The FAA is changing its focus on weather theory and weather services to a more scenario-based system. This means that questions on the oral portion of the practical test will be related to a hypothetical weather situation. For example, your examiner may ask you about the expected weather along your flight route for the pre-planned cross-country. Number 35. What is standard sea level temperature and pressure? Standard sea level temperature is 15 degrees Celsius. Standard sea level pressure is 29.92 Hg. These numbers are important for completing important calculations such as true airspeed, current lapse rate, and density altitude. 36. What is the standard lapse rate? The standard lapse rate is 2 degrees Celsius per 1,000 feet of altitude gained. 37. What is the Coriolis force? The Coriolis force is a theory that explains how things deflect to the right in the northern hemisphere. It applies to wind, pressure, and general weather patterns. The Coriolis force is the reason wind and weather patterns generally move from west to east, left to right in the United States. 38. Why is wind shear dangerous? Wind shear is dangerous because it is unpredictable and it can cause significant changes in heading, airspeed, and altitude, especially close to the ground. Number 39. What is the significance of a close temperature dew point spread? A close temperature dew point spread indicates the probable formation of visible moisture in the form of dew, mist, fog, or clouds. The decrease in temperature, most frequently at night, can result in a close temperature dew point spread and fast forming fog. 40. What are the characteristics of stable air and what are the characteristics of unstable air? Stable air is characterized by continuous precipitation, smooth air, and poor visibility. Unstable air is characterized by showery precipitation, rough air, and good visibility. 41. What are the three types of fronts, and what significance is this to aviation? The three types of fronts are cold front, warm front, and stationary front. Each front indicates a different type of weather. 42. What type of weather is associated with a cold front? Cold fronts usually contain the most volatile weather. Because cold air replaces warm air quickly, the difference in pressure is the greatest with the potential for violent weather. 43. What type of weather is associated with a warm front? The weather associated with a warm front is usually relatively mild. Warm front weather is usually much more widespread and longer lasting than that of cold front weather. 44. What type of weather is associated with a stationary front? A stationary front is when warm and cold air masses meet but do not mix. Wind always blows along the frontal boundary of a stationary front, and in some cases, embedded storms occur. 45. What is an occluded front? An occluded front is a combination of cold, warm, and cool air. Thus, weather in occluded fronts are a combination of cold and warm front weather. 46. What is clear air turbulence and why is it dangerous? Clear air turbulence is not associated with thunderstorms. It usually occurs along an upper level temperature inversion. It is dangerous because it is often unexpected and it can be severe. 47. What are three types of structural icing? The three types of structural icing are clear, rime, and mixed ice. Clear ice forms when drops are large, as in rain or in cumulus clouds. It is hard, heavy, and unyielding. Rime ice forms as a result of small drops found in stratified clouds and drizzle. Air becomes trapped in between the drops and makes the ice appear white. Mixed ice is a combination of clear and rime ice. 48. How much can ice or frost degrade performance? It is important not to operate with frost on the wings because it can degrade performance by up to 40%. 49. What are the types of fog and how are they formed? The fog types include radiation, advection, precipitation induced, upslope, and ice. Radiation fog forms when the air close to the ground is cooled faster than the air above it. It usually forms at night or near daybreak. Advection fog forms along coastal areas when the water is warmer than the air around it. Precipitation-induced fog forms when relatively warm rain or drizzle falls through cold air and evaporation from the precipitation saturates the cold air. Upslope fog forms as a result of moist, stable air being cooled adiabatically as it moves up sloping terrain. Ice fog occurs in cold weather when the temperature is well below freezing and water vapor sublimates directly as ice crystals. Number 50. What conditions must be present for a thunderstorm to form? Formation of a thunderstorm requires a lifting action, an unstable lapse rate, and sufficient water vapor. 51. What is a microburst? Why is it hazardous to aircraft? How long does a microburst typically last? A microburst is a heavy downdraft occurring within a thunderstorm. It is hazardous to aircraft because of the extreme down force. The downdrafts become strong, outflowing horizontal surface winds flowing outward from the base of the thunderstorm. A microburst usually lasts for a total of 10 minutes, with the maximum intensity winds lasting for 2 to 4 minutes. 52. What type of flying weather do low-pressure systems present? Low-pressure systems are quite often regions of poor flying weather, and high-pressure systems are predominantly regions of favorable flying weather. 53. Where is weather information available on the ground? Weather information is available on the ground from a flight service station, a direct user access terminal system, DUATS, and telephone information briefing service, TIBS. You can speak to a pre-flight briefer at the flight service station or receiving TIBS by calling 1-800-WX-BRIEF, BRIEF, anywhere in the country. DUATS is a free service available to pilots on the internet. Here you can receive weather information and file a flight plan. TIBS is recorded weather information that can be obtained by calling 1-800-WX-BRIEF. 54. Where is weather information available in flight? Weather information is available in flight with HIWAS, Hazardous In-Flight Weather Advisory Service, FSS, Flight Service Stations, TWEB, Transcribed Weather Broadcast, ATIS, Automatic Terminal Information Service, ASOS, Automated Surface Observation Service, AWOS, Automated Weather Observation Service. You can file a PREP and obtain numerous types of weather information with flight service stations. HIWAS is a recorded briefing of hazardous weather over select VOR frequencies. Flight service stations may be contacted at 122.2 MHz. Additional frequencies are shown on navigational charts and are usually available for ATC. TWEB is a recorded broadcast of current and adverse weather conditions over select VOR frequencies. ATIS is recorded weather information for a terminal area. AWAS and ASOS are automated weather report stations found at many airports. Number 55. What is METAR? A METAR is a current weather observation that is updated at a regular interval and applies to a 5-mile radius around the observation point, usually at any airport, reporting wind, visibility, storm activity, ceilings, temperature, altimeter settings, and remarks. 56. What is a TAF? How often are TAFs updated? A TAF is a forecast of condition for the next 24 hours, 30 hours at the largest U.S. airports that applies to a 5-mile radius around an airport. TAFs are updated 4 times a day and report wind, visibility, significant weather, sky condition, and possible wind shear. 57. How do TAFs indicate wind shear? TAFs indicate forecasted wind shear with the code WS after the sky conditions segment. 58. What is a PIREP? P-I-R-E-P. How is one submitted? How can a pilot receive one? A PIREP is a pilot weather report. PIREPs are important sources of observed weather aloft. PIREPs are submitted by pilots to a flight service station. 59. What type of information can be found in an area forecast? FA. How often is an area forecast updated? What are the 4 sections of an area forecast? An area forecast is a forecast of clouds and general weather conditions over an area of several states and is updated 3 times a day. An FA contains 4 sections: the communication and product header, precautionary statement, synopsis, and VFR clouds weather section. The communication and product header indicates the date and time of issuance, valid times, and area of coverage. The precautionary statement icing, low-level, wind shear, and IFR conditions, and non-MSL heights are denoted by AGL or CIG. The synopsis is a brief summary of the location and movement of fronts, pressure systems, and circulation patterns. The VFR clouds weather section contains a 12-hour specific forecast and a 6-hour outlook, and covers possible weather hazards such as IFR conditions, icing, thunderstorms, and wind shear. Number 60. What is the difference between a radar summary chart and a visible satellite report? A radar summary chart displays areas of precipitation as well as information about the type, intensity, configuration, coverage, ecotop, and cell movement of that precipitation. A visible satellite report is a type of imagery of clouds and their thickness. Number 61. What is a SIGMET? What is a convective SIGMET? And what is an AirMet? SIGMETs are issued for all aircraft and may include severe icing not associated with thunderstorms, clear air turbulence, dust storms, and volcanic eruptions. Convective SIGMETs are issued for severe thunderstorms, embedded thunderstorms, lines of thunderstorms, and tornadoes, all of which imply severe or greater turbulence, severe icing, and low-level wind shear. AirMets are issued for moderate icing, moderate turbulence, IFR conditions over 50% of an area, sustained surface winds of 30 knots or greater, non-convective low-level wind shear, and mountain obscuration. Number 62. What do winds and temperatures aloft forecasts indicate? What can a pilot determine from these forecasts? Winds and temperature aloft forecasts indicate the wind's speed and direction, as well as temperature at various altitudes. Pilots are interested in most favorable winds and temperature inversions. Number 63. What is a center weather advisory? A center weather advisory is an advisory provided by ATC for potential hazardous weather expected to happen within the next 2 hours.